Hey, what is up everyone? This is Linus, you're watching Gizmo China, and I'm here in Prague, in Czech Republic, in the Blackview's press conference. They are going to announce quite a few new phones, I think 3 or 4 new models, and some of them are pretty exciting. So yeah, let's begin. This is the Blackview BV8000 Pro. As you can see, it has the rugged design. It's made of metal and quality rubber material to give it those rugged properties. So this phone is shockproof, also waterproof, dustproof, the same as the last generation BV7000 Pro model. So as far as the feeling in the hand, it's great. The phone feels pretty high quality. Can see that the metal chassis, metal buttons are tactile. I have no complaints so far. So as far as the specifications go, we have the MTK 6757 octa-core chip, which is clocked at 2.3 GHz. Also, we have 6 GB of RAM and 64 gigs of internal storage. So these are pretty good specs, since this phone is going to be a budget phone. Other specs include a 5-inch 1080p display, which is covered with a Gorilla Glass 3. Also, we have 8 megapixels front-firing camera, and also we have 16 megapixels back camera. And another key feature is that this phone ships with a beefy 4180 mAh battery, which should last you for quite a bit of time. Again, all the exact times will be written on the Gizmo China's website, on the hands-on article. And finally, the phone runs on the Android 7.0 out of the box. And we have a custom skin on top of it with quite a few added features and customization options we've seen on other Blackview phones for quite a bit of time. Another cool feature about this phone is that it has a pretty good screen-to-body ratio. I think it's 75% or something like that. And the phone has a 5-inch display. Definitely we have those bezels on the top and bottom and on the sides because this is a shockproof phone, so they needed to implement that protection somehow. But in the hand, it feels quite a compact phone in comparison to other rugged phones. So another key feature is that this phone has a side fingerprint scanner, which is pretty cool. It is pretty convenient to reach with one hand, with my thumb. The phone also has a customizable button. You can assign basically anything you want to this button to open up the camera or dialer or gallery. And even though the phone is water resistant, we have the USB Type-C port, which is not covered by any flaps. So right now I'm looking at the Blackview P6 phone. This is another phone released at the press conference in Prague, Czech Republic. And as you can see, this is a dummy unit. It's actually not working, it's a prototype, but we have almost finalized design. It has pretty nice looking gold color, metal chassis that goes all around the device, metal buttons. The build quality feels solid, the phone feels quite okay, have no issues, have no complaints about that. So as far as the specifications go, we have the MediaTek MTK 6757 octa-core chip, which is clocked at 2.4 GHz. Also, we have 6 gigs of RAM and 64 gigabytes of internal storage, which will be probably expandable as usual. As far as the display goes, we have a 5.5-inch 1080p LCD panel, which is protected by the Gorilla Glass 3, if I'm not mistaken. On the front we have an 8 megapixels front-firing camera for selfies, and on the back we have dual camera setup that consists of 2 cameras that have 13 megapixel shooters. As far as battery life is actually, when it's one of the main selling points of this phone is that the phone is really thin. It measures just about 9 millimeters, but it has a huge 6180 milliamp hour battery, which is quite an insane achievement because the phone is really thin and they squeeze in a huge battery. That's quite impressive. And as far as the UI goes, unfortunately I can't show you, but it will be running on Android 7.0 out of the box with a Blackview skin on top of it that has quite a few features and customization options we've seen on other Blackview phones. It may be released in about July. The price point is not yet officially confirmed, but we'll update all the information on gizmochina.com, so stay tuned for that. So here's another phone that was unveiled by Blackview, and this phone is called Blackview BB4000 Pro. So another thing in common to other phones that were released during this launch is that it is dust-proof, shock-proof, and water-resistant. And as you can see, it has a rugged body, we have metal sides, rugged materials, rubber. The feeling in the hand is pretty good, and yeah, as far as the main specs go, we have a MediaTek MTK 6737 chip, which is a quad-core chip, and it is clocked at 1.3 GHz. Also, we have 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of internal storage, which will be probably expandable via the microSD card slot. As far as display goes, this phone is actually quite compact since it has a 4.7 display that has 720p resolution. As far as cameras, we have a 2 megapixels front-firing camera and 8 megapixels camera on the back. And the same as other Blackview phones that were just launched, this phone runs on Android 7.0 out of the box. And finally, one of the key selling points of this device is the pretty huge battery, which is a 4000 milliamp hour unit. So if you consider that this phone has a 4.7-inch display and 4000 milliamp hour battery, the battery life should be pretty good. So this is another device that was announced today, and this is the Blackview A7 or A7 Pro. These will be pretty much similar phones, but they will carry a little bit different specifications. So as far as the specs go, it has an MTK 6737 chip, which is quad-core, clocked at 1.3 GHz. Also, it has a 5-inch 720p display, a pretty huge 2800 milliamp hour battery, Android 7.0 out of the box, 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of storage, 5 megapixels front-firing camera, and 8 megapixels camera on the back. So yeah, this is another dummy phone. It's actually not working, it's a prototype, so I can't show you guys how it works, how the user interface works, but as far as I know, the user interface will look pretty much the same as on other Blackview phones. Price point is not yet officially confirmed, but we'll update all the information on gizmochina.com, so stay tuned for that.